On 1st January 1949, an act was birthed, the Road Traffic Act, which is available to the Road Traffic Act Chapter 548, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 1990. It is this act that gave birth to the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, also known as the Vehicle Inspection Office, VIO. Upon establishment, VIO was given a mandate. Prominent among them is to ensure the pre-registration, inspection of vehicles, ensuring cooperation with other agencies to enforce traffic rules and regulations, provide accessible emergency services, inculcate traffic rules through public education and advocacy, and maintain effective patrols on roads and highways. But recently, the Federal High Court, sitting in Abuja, gave an order prohibiting the Directorate from stopping vehicles on the road, impounding or confiscating them, and imposing fines on motorists. Justice Evelyn Maha gave the order in a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by a human rights activist and public interest attorney, Abubakar Marshall. Justice Maha affirmed that there was no legal basis for the VIO and its officials to stop, impound, or confiscate vehicles or to levy fines against motorists. How does the motoring public view this court order? How will the order affect the services of the Directorate, otherwise known as VIO? These are questions we hope to get answers to today as we deliberate on the court verdict on the VIO operations. I am Ikaria Clinton, and welcome to Nigeria Today. Now, joining us for this discussion is Mustafa Agbarere. He's a constitutional lawyer. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Also joining us via Zoom from Lokoja, Kogi State, is Ahmed Dauda. He's the Chief VIO Kogi State. Thanks for joining us, Dauda.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
I'll start with you, Ahmed. Now, tell us, when you saw the verdict or when you heard about the verdict, what came to your mind?
Okay, thank you so much. You may have just to manage me. It's raining here in Lokoja, but that notwithstanding, I have to start by introducing myself. I'm Engineer Ahmed Enesi Dauda, the Chief Vehicle Inspection Officer of Kogi State. In response to the question you just raised, honestly, we were shocked by such a judgment from a very renowned and stable judge. So we're not against that, but because we believe that we have respect for the judiciary and that we are going to respond to it appropriately. But then we believe that the judgment is just not a thing that we have to abide by, because it's not a judgment that have the best interest of the nation, the best interest of the people that flies the road, the best interest of the motorists that use the road, because vehicle inspection officers have to be on the road to do this job. If they are not on the road, there will be a lot of chaos, confusion, and accident on the road. So it was a shocking judgment and information we had.
Now, having said that, you said it was a shock. Now, can you explain to us, the legal basis for the court's decision regarding the authority of the VIOs?
Yes, thank you. Once again, you know, I will start off from the shock reaction being expressed by the gentleman there. Yes, he must be shocked because you have two sides to the coins when you are in the court of law. Somebody is winning, the other one loses. Of course, one person will be happy, the other one will be sad. In his own case, they are sad. And he has expressed his own sadness, especially from the areas of the safety on the road, also that it is also not in the interest of the nation. No, let me tell you, judgment is judgment, and the sanctity of the court cannot be questioned. Yes, if you go through that judgment, you will see that it is infallible. Though nobody is infallible here, but the judgment of the court are always invaluable. let me tell you, this judgment is a kind of a case which is having a collision with constitution. No law is superior to the constitution. The gentleman that filed the matter is using the provision of section 34 of the constitution and section 41. 34 with respect to right to fair hearing. That I was not, how can you impose fine on me and at the same time you are the judge in your own case, you are the one imposing and you are the collecting officer at the same time. And the fair hearing is that you must give me the right to express myself. You can't just convict me just like that. That is why we have these two Latin maxims of nemo judes in casu sua and audi utrem partem. Nemo judes that nobody can be a judge in his own case. At the same time that you must hear both parties. So he is saying that his right has been infringed upon by you impounding my vehicle, you also making levies against me that I should pay levies and I must pay it in your own corridor. He's now telling the court that the one thing that they have under the law establishing them is for them, number one, to inspect the vehicle. You can do that within your office. And it's making us to also get it right that if you go to what happens in the advanced countries, you won't see anybody on the road inspecting your vehicle. They make available things and they work within the confines of their office. It is only when you breach the law that they will now take you, and they will even take you to the court of law. It is the court of law that will now interpret the relevant provisions of the law. Like the Road Traffic Act that you just said, Section 601 of the Act makes provisions for penalty. 601 makes the penalties that must be paid by people. It talks about fine. It also talks about imprisonment. But it is not you, the authority, that is telling me that yes, I've defaulted. That will also now say I should be paying there. You take me to the court of law.
Okay, thank you very much,
yes.
Agbari. Now,
yes.
Back to you, Ahmed. You had the explanation by the legal luminary here in the studio. Now, having heard all this explanation, would you say that your operation has been within the confines of the act that established your directorate?
Yes, quite well. I think we are firmly rooted to do this job, because if you look at the background you have set just now, and we are also leveraging on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where in Part 1, Section 1 to 3, Section 1, Subsection 1 to 3, and Part 2, Section 4, Section 1 to 3, and Section 7, ABC, where the function of the VIO has to come up in the Constitution, whereby the Constitution states that the work of the VIO is a residual matter. It's not on the concurrent list. It's not in the exclusive list. It is on the residual matter, where the states and the FCT have the right to legislate and form laws to be able to guide activities on the road. And this is exactly what the FCT has done, and which other states are also doing. When you look at when the VIO was formed, it was formed purposely because of all this. And when we go to the road to do our work, we do it within the confines of the law. And when you see that this thing is a residual matter, every state will have to go back and domesticate this law in the states. And in my home state, Kogi State, we have been able to form a law by the National State Assembly, which was assented to by the governor of the state at that time, 2018, precisely October 16, by Governor His Excellency Yaya Adoza Bello, who signed the bill. And the bill was to provide for road traffic administration and make provision for road traffic vehicle inspection and in Kogi State and other connected purposes. So we are leveraging on this to do our job. And in that law, we are being empowered to do some certain things which I can also let you know, because when the law was enacted in the state, we were mandated to operate within the confines of that law. And that's exactly what we are doing in Kogi State. And I don't think we will have anything to violate the law if by the law that was assented to by the governor, we are working with it. So this is what we are doing. And in that law, I'll be able to tell you that we were to enforce traffic rules and regulations on the major highways in the states. So if we are doing this, and FCT is also replicating such a thing in FCT, because I have told you that FCT and states were having the constitutional mandate under the matter to domesticate this law, which we are using. So
thank you very much, Dauda. We've heard you, and we'll come back to you on that.
I'm coming. We cannot enforce traffic rules without getting to the road. It is only on the road that you can enforce traffic rules and regulations. And we are supposed to cooperate and have synergy with.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dauda. We'll come back to you on that. But right now, we'll take a short break and listen to a cross-section of Nigerians on this issue, as put together by Thomas Ogbetere. Don't go away.
Well, for me, my understanding is that the VIO work is supposed to be checking the documents, making sure the car is roadworthy, and particularly the car and whatever document it has in shape. But the issue of where they confiscate vehicle and they remove plate number, that's why they violate their work. But for me, if they restrict themselves to only checking the vehicle particulars, checking the particular vehicle, I don't think there's anything wrong with what they are doing. In fact, without them, then there's chaos in the whole town today because they are not on the road. You can see how important they are.
But firstly, it's good in one side and it's bad in the other side. Actually, FIO is generating revenue for the federal government. That's first. Secondly, it's been like, because of their causing hold up or they are causing accident or anyhow, many people as Nigerian we are talking about, many people will not be like going to do anything like relating to get a paper, genuine paper for their vehicle. And that's so. Secondly, it gives a way to malpractice.
For me, it is a good one, especially for the people living in Abuja. It's a good one. But my own take and what I think is, it's not all about giving verdict, but who enforce it. Can the government follow it up so that the people, the VIOs, they will not be on the road to maybe embarrassing the people, the motorists? So these are my worries.
I think the judiciary is meant to interpret law, and if they find out that the rules and regulations has been violated and they have given a verdict, everybody is meant to comply with. And I think I have no other option than to comply or go on with the judiciary interpretation.
Welcome back. This is still Nigeria Today, and we're looking at the court verdict on the VIO operations. And of course, I have here with me in the studio a gentleman, a legal practitioner, and also via Zoom from Kogi State, we have another gentleman. Now, we had the reaction of the people.
Yes.
People are talking, people say, okay, it's a welcome development. However, sanity on our road.
Yes.
It's how would this, what exactly should the following this ruling, what should the VIO change in their operation?
Yes. The only thing they will change in their operation is for them to work within the confines of the law. I tell you, and I will keep to repeat it, I'm saying Section 36 of the Constitution, fair hearing. 2, Section 34, right to dignity of human person. Check also Section 41, freedom of movement of Nigerians. These rights are immutable. No matter any law that a state passes or any National Assembly passes any law, if that law is in conflict with any provisions of the Constitution, of course, Constitution is the mother of all laws. It will prevail over them. So those laws are having violence with the Constitution. They are attacking the Constitution. That is why the judge is saying that our Constitution prevails. The man is saying that you impounded my vehicle, you imposed fine on me, without taking me to the court of law. So their legal department should brace up against the challenges that they are facing now. What the legal department will make them to understand is that they are only working within the confines of the law, and the law of the land, constitution, should prevail over them. Don't go to the road and impose fine. At the same time, you want the person to pay immediately in the name that you are generating funds for the federal government of Nigeria or for any state. That is number one. Number two, you know, in the FCT, they are just a department. They call them VIO. VIO is not the name that the law calls them. Law only says vehicle inspection officer. Go and check the Road Traffic Act. Also check the National Road Traffic Regulation of 2012. They only call them VIO. Now FCT domesticated those laws and they make them under a department. That department is what we call Directorate of Road Transport Services under the FCTA.
No,
it's just a department.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry to cut you a little bit. Sorry to cut you.
Yes.
No, I was looking at the verdict. He said the VIO it bowed the VIO from stopping.
Yes.
Impounding or confiscating vehicles.
Yes.
It's stopping. So if you don't stop a car, how do you inspect it?
No.
Because I was wondering.
Inspection of the car should take place in their office. The people are getting it wrong. Before I am licensed to drive my car, I should go to their office. They will inspect that vehicle. They will also ensure that I have capacity to drive that vehicle within the law, within the eyes of the law. So once you do that inspection, the law presumes that every person on the road is driving well. Law presumes that everybody on the road has license. So the presumption is rebuttable. But how do you rebut it? If you see anybody who violates it, you can stop the person and say, wait. You know, the court's verdict conjoin everything. Stopping, impounding, and confiscating, and fine. Yeah. Don't forget that the gentleman that went to the court is a lawyer. What he's saying is that they stop him, they impounded the vehicle, they also impose fine on him. They come together. All these acts, they do them together. If you stop a person who is driving dangerously, it is within your rights. Or you tell him if that person commits any offense, all you do is, this is your offense. You will go to the court of law. It is the court that will now give verdicts. Nobody can impose fine on any Nigerian. It is only court that has the power to say, okay, this is your fine. I'm interpreting the law that you violated. But they will sit and say, yes, you crossed the line. You are paying 10,000 naira. You are the judge in your own case. And that is what we are saying. Nobody can be a judge in his own case. All the utrem patem, here both parties. You are the complainant. VIO will now be the complainant. Let me explain. You take them to the court of law. Court will now be the arbiter. Then I will now be the defendant. Now ask me, why did you do that thing? All they need to do is to generate evidence to say, number one, you don't have license. Number two, your vehicle is not motorable, cannot be driven because it has one problem or the other. We are taking you to the court. It is the court that will now give the verdict. But what they do in this Abuja is that immediately they take you, they will call and say, yes, do you know that offense is 10,000? Then they will collect that money immediately. That is what we are telling them. Let their legal department brace up and know the law. That judgment is not violable.
Okay. Thank you very much. Now, yes. Dauda, I know you heard everything the lawyer said. However, I know the court has said, okay, no impounding, no confiscating, no imposing fines on motorists, but there are other responsibilities that you have. Now, how might this decision impact your relationship, with the public and of course your other enforcement, your other duties, your other operations?
The issue is that let us lose sight of the fact that I said that it is a residual matter. Yes, are you hearing me? That it is a residual matter. Are you hearing me? So, and every state has the power to legislate. And when it was legislated in my state, we were empowered with some functions. And one of the functions is that in section 2, we are empowered to impound vehicles which fails to meet the prescribed standards of traffic rules and regulation. it is the power of the VIO2 to direct that such vehicle be kept off the roads, and which we are doing. And it is the power of the VIO2 to arrest where appropriate and allow the alleged offender to pay fines stipulated for the offense under the law. Yes, all these are what we are doing. And you see that if you cannot go to the road or you are not allowed to go to the road, some vehicles or operators of vehicles go to the road with restricted vehicles. Yes, we are expected to enforce the roadworthiness of vehicles. And not every vehicle would like to come to the office for enforcement. If you don't go to the road to enforce, lucrative vehicle will be plying the roads, and offenders, drivers that drive roughly on the road will be on the road. And if you are not on the road to do this, where else can you do this? Nobody will come to the office for you to inspect his vehicle. And you know the roads we have, when you are using your vehicle may come to the office and will inspect, and it will be roadworthy. When it is roadworthy, within 1, 2, 3 months, wear and tear will be coming up from the vehicle, and that person will not like to even come back again, because he will be looking at the cost of re-inspection. And that if you don't go to make such a vehicle to get out of the road, then how did you enforce? So we ensure that every vehicle that plan.
Thank you very much. It does appear we have a network, but he has made his point. I was also thinking in that direction. Not everybody will want to come to the office to get his or her vehicle inspected. Yes. You know the country we are in. You know, you have to kind of put in some kind of force, just like he mentioned. So what should be done to ensure safety on our roads?
I've said it, and I'll keep repeating it. We have National Road Traffic Regulation of 2012. We also have Federal Road Safety Commission Establishment Act. You know, we have them on the road. Federal Road Safety Commission. They are the one that should be on the federal road. It's simple. Your work is inspection. They are just an inspectorate. Wait, and he's talking about laws. I'm not saying that it's not a residual capacity act. If your state makes any law, and that law is in direct violation of the Constitution, the mother of all laws, of course, that your law, to the extent of the inconsistency of that your law, it will be declared null and void. So it's an act, the act of the assembly, of the state assembly, that domesticated any law which is in contravention of the Constitution, cannot stand. Let me tell you, our road will be safe.
Good.
Our road will be safe. Are they telling everybody now to to do the belt? Nobody tells, because you know that road safeties people are
thank you very much. But before we go, tell us, can they challenge this verdict?
It's challengeable. It's not the court of final verdict. So that court is the court of first instance. That is Federal High Court. Let them go and test it at the Court of Appeal. If at the end of the day, Court of Appeal is also not satisfiable to them, if they are dissatisfied, they also have the final court of land, which is Supreme Court, to go and challenge the verdict. So they have right of appeal.
Thank you very much. This is where we end today's episode of Nigeria Today on NTA News 24. We wish to appreciate our guests, a constitutional lawyer, Mustafa Agbarare. Thank you so much for coming on the program and for your input. And also we had via Zoom from Kogi State, Ahmed Dauda. He's the Chief VIO, Kogi State. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today is every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch a repeat by 10 p.m. today, as well as other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am Ikeria Clinton. Goodbye.